Good afternoon, writers. Today we are going to continue on with our last Generating Ideas lesson. We have focused on thinking of a special person, and we've also focused on thinking of a special place in our lives, and then being able to think of those small moments and jot them down, and then write long off of it. Your goal has been to make sure that you're adding details and description, and also making sure your stories have proper capitalization and punctuation. Our last lesson for finding ideas for true stories is going to have to do with thinking of a time that you had a strong emotion. So we want to think about some of these. We can even use our little organizer to help us think of some of these strong emotions. Maybe a time you were surprised about something. Maybe there's a time you were really, really angry. Maybe there's a time where you felt very confused, or maybe a time you felt very frustrated, or a time you felt really, really happy. We're going to use this to kind of think about some ideas, because when we think of strong emotions we've had, a lot of times we're able to think of some experiences. And maybe they weren't so good experiences, or maybe they were amazing experiences. So I'm going to show you what you're going to do. Once you think of a strong emotion, I want you to actually choose 3 different emotions. Think of a small moment with each of those emotions. So what I've done, and again, you're going to need your writer's composition book, and you're going to go into your writing section and make sure that you're going to find your first clean page. So that likely is going to be after you're writing about your special place that you mapped. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn your page. You're going to date the top left corner, and you're going to title it with emotion. I've jotted down the emotions that came to me first. And I first wrote the emotion surprised. I was able to easily think of a time where I felt really, really surprised. And mine was the time my brother came back from Afghanistan and showed up at the restaurant I was at. I had no idea that he was even back in town. So that was a good story. Another one I thought was when I was really excited. And what came to mind was when I won the tennis tournament for the first time. And lastly, I thought scared. That was when it was the time I went on the giant drop and was at the top. And I was really scared when that happened. So that might be a time that I write about it or write long off of it. So once you've come up with your 3 emotions and your one small moment, you're going to choose one of those small moments, just like we've done in the past. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my options here, and I'm going to circle the one that I think that I'm going to have the most to say and the most to write about. And that one is the time when my brother came and surprised me. So then what I'm going to do is think about how I'm going to write my story. Okay. So again, I'm going to turn to the next page, and I'm going to use this side of my page to start brainstorming. Again, I'm going to jot down my beginning and a few bullet points, my middle and a few bullet points, and my end and a few bullet points. This helps me make sure that I'm telling my story in order and that I'm not leaving out any details. So if I think about in the beginning of my story, I remember this day very vividly. I'm going to think about, I want to tell my audience about what it was like out. What was the setting of the story? So I might say it was definitely a rainy / almost sleety winter day. Okay. And in the middle, I might jot down some ideas of probably when he first came in. kind of what happened and some of those emotions that I felt. And at the end, I likely will conclude with something that has to do with the way that we all felt at the end of that story as well, after not seeing him for 9 months, and kind of anything that I might have learned. So remember that once you've kind of done your little brainstorm here, you're going to go to the other side of your journal, and now you're going to write your story, now that you have your plan in place. So again, I'm dating my page, and I'm going to write my strong emotion, which was surprised. And I'm just going to title it. If you have a different title for yours, you may go for it. And then I'm going to see if I can fill up my entire page single-spaced with my story, making sure I'm adding lots and lots of details. What was I thinking during this time? Lots of times, what was I feeling? What did the setting look like? Those are all descriptions you can include. All right, writers, it is your turn now to think of 3 strong emotions and begin writing.